choose who to support. I did not support William Ruto in the last elections. Raila Odinga had 23,000 votes in my constituency. William Ruto had 508 votes in my constituency. Less than 1,000 votes in my constituency. I have a choice. If I want to support him in the 2027, I use the same independence and the same right that I used last time to choose whoever I want. I've been in the opposition myself for the longest. I was not in Kanu. I was in Fort Kenya with Jaramogi. A lot has happened in our country for the longest. For the longest. I grew up here when somebody from northeastern province is applying for a passport. It will be subjected to such a difficult process that people who served in the colonial civil service, in the King's African Rifles, and many other institutions in the country, the police force, had problems getting those passports simply because of discrimination. Now, this discrimination is akin to the apartheid of South Africa because we are not coming from outside Kenya. Nobody's telling me Garissa is a county for Kikuyus or Luos or Luyas or Kalenjins or any other community. Or he's saying Wajir is a county for other communities, not Somalis, or Mandera, or Isolo for that matter, or Marsabit. Everybody accepts that these counties are our own indigenous, traditional, historical land that we owned for thousands of years. But again, somebody again thinks that you should not, you're not as Kenyan as anybody else. It's precisely because of the fear of that kind of a discrimination.
The Bukusus are also marginalized.
Come here.
The Bukusus are also about the community.
Now we are telling them, we're telling, look, my friend Kalonzo Musyoka, he himself is the one who told me the original name of Mwingi, where he comes from, was Kwafara. That town was started by a Somali trader called Farah, not less than 78 years before the British landed in our country here. All the major urban centers of Kenya were started by Somalis. And ask the community, ask your elders, ask your grandfathers if they're around. Whether it is Kericho, or it is what they call Marigat, or it is Bungoma, Olukezia, or it is Naivasha, or it is Maragua, Nyeri. We used to call in our culture Mega is Muiga. Long before the colonialists came, our people would bring animals to Muiga and go back with grains. And just because there's a community called Somali who have got a nation on the other side, and these boundaries were determined by the colonialists for their own benefit, and hived a portion of the Somali nation as part of this Kenya, which they were, by the way, for the longest, even before the colonialists came. They were never called Kenya, but we still traded together and lived together as Africans the way we were those days. The Kikuyu nation, the Somali nation, the Meri nation, the Kalenjin nation, all those nations were there. At the time of independence, to distract the attention of Kenyans from the injustices of the land distribution that was happening in here, the people who were in power at that time, who came to power, felt it very important to project to Somalis the first government. Now anybody who has an issue will say, now we are telling them, we are just as much part of the Kenyan society and nation as everybody else is. And we have as much rights. And the same way that the Kikuyu nation cannot be threatened, or the Kalenjin nation cannot be threatened, or the Luo nation cannot be threatened, nobody is going to threaten us. I'll tell you that for sure. You can have it for free. If anybody wants to destroy Kenya, good luck. Bring it on. We will see where you go with it. You get my point? Because for the longest, This discrimination has persisted to the extent whereby somebody thinks that we are subhuman. It's a political process. Warrior was Somali. Who started Nairobi as a center, by the way? Who were the first traders who established Nairobi as a business center before even the railways came in? Go back to the history. Go and read Out of Africa. And what was the lady called? Karen Blixen and all those people. We were here. We were here in Kenya when some other Kenyans were in other parts of the country migrating from back and forth, other parts of the continent. So the position we are telling right now is that, look, for God's sake, let's protect our country together. Let's not try and victimize any section of our community. For the longest, I have been myself a witness to a situation in which when a Luo comes with a bachelor's degree from Eastern Europe, he will be relegated to a diploma. When he comes with a master's, he will be given a bachelor's. If he comes with a PhD, he's told, no, you can only have a master's. Or people who graduated from other, because of that discrimination. The nation has seen a lot of discrimination of different sections of the society. Look at the development country we have had in this country for the longest. And look at the discrimination in the provision of infrastructure in the country. For God's sake. Watu wamekuwa werevu, kila mtu amekuwa mwerevu. Let the bygones be bygones, but let us focus on a nation that is ours, that we can choose who to support. I did not support William Ruto in the last elections. Raila Odinga had 23,000 votes in my constituency. William Ruto had 508 votes in my constituency. Less than 1,000 votes in my constituency. I have a choice. If I want to support him in the 2027, I use the same independence and the same right that I used last time to choose whoever I want. I've been in the opposition myself for the longest. I was not in Kanu. I was in Fort Kenya with Jaramogi. Let us protect our country and respect every section of the society of this country without making any other allusions. The Luos in Uganda. I've seen Luos myself in Sudan. They are couriers on both sides. They are Maasais on both sides. They are Digos on both sides. Actually, as a matter of fact, there are more Digos in Tanzania than there are in Kenya. And there are more, what do you call, the Bukusus are here. The majority of them are in Uganda. The Tesos. The Tesos have got the second biggest tribe in Uganda. What we are saying is that these border regions, this unfair vetting discrimination in which intelligence will take 6 months or even a year or 10 years to vet people, should stop, so that we all Kenyans have a right. And this does not only apply to us, by the way, it's going to apply to all the border regions, because all the border regions are affected. There are Kalenjins in Tanzania, in Uganda. The Kalenjins, the runners in Uganda, you will see the chariots and all those, the Sebei. Why pick on the Somalis? Why would somebody be so what you call reckless as to say they're trying? By the way, we are a clannish people. The Somalis of Somalia are there in their own country. The ones of Ethiopia are in their own country. You get my point? It's only Kenyans that you have here. We have refugees who get settled in America and Europe and the rest of it the same way. South Sudanese refugees are here. Ethiopian refugees are here. Ugandan refugees were here. John Garang was a refugee in Kenya from South Sudan way back. Even Kagame was a refugee. Museveni was hiding in this place when he was fighting in the RMI. I mean, basically, we'll find time to come in here. Those Somalis who are refugees either settled in Europe or America or wherever it is, and the rest of them are still refugees. They live in camps. So when you target us, one, by trying to have what you call digital genocide by our old president, Uhuru Kenyatta, when a constituency with almost 200,000 votes, he says reduce it to only 50, and the courts have found what he has done. That was bad, and in bad taste. If it happened to us before and Wagala was done to us, massacre of Wagala was done to us. 5,000 Kenyans were killed and massacred in there. Because somebody felt they were not as much Kenyan as the rest of the Kenyans. Or as human as the rest of Kenyans. And Wajir, and Malkamari, and Bulakartas in Garissa, and all the things that were done to us, including shooting into a mosque in Isiolo. And Jomo Kenyatta's, what do you call government? This time around, Tumerevuka, pick on us.
We are awake.
Let's see what you get out of it. You get my point? We're not begging anybody. This is our rights. The same way you cannot threaten a Kikuyu or a Kalenjin or a Luo or a Luya, don't try to threaten a Somali. By the way, we don't take kindly to that. And right now, we are somebody like me, I'm an objective person. I have had a checkered career, political career of always being objective. I was never in the ruling government. I was not with Uhuru. I was not with Kibaki when he became a president. That old man literally wanted me to be in his government and even to be in the cabinet. But I said no. I had my own political association and my friends. Because Kenya is for all of us. I'm one of the founder members of what is called COTEPA. COTEPA is a coffee and tea parliamentary association which was created in 1993 with the late, with Kiraitu Murungi, with Paul Mwite, with a number of our good old friends. I was fighting for the rights of the coffee farmers in the mountain region and other parts of the country, and the tea farmers in Rift Valley. I was not fighting only for Somalis. So the point I'm trying to tell you is that, look, we are patriotic. We respect our country. We respect our countrymen. This is a message to our countrymen. All Kenyans will want to live peacefully together. Shun the political thugs and crooks who feel that for them to achieve a certain political mileage, they can divide this country anytime. They created all post-election violences. All post-election violences were created by selfish politicians. We don't want that to happen again. Ask me why I support Ruto's government right now. I'll give you a raft of all the good things that they have done. You might have a different opinion. You're entitled to your opinion. I'm entitled to my opinion. You get my point? It's not that your opinion has got to be manifest destiny. It's like your opinion must be the opinion of the nation. No, that doesn't work. And it will never work. So the point I'm trying to tell you all is that, look, let us protect our country. What is being done to us right now, indeed, yes, is an injustice. People should be hailing this. The same way apartheid was dismantled, to say, thank God, the media particularly, apartheid in our own country is being dismantled now. There's no discrimination. The people of northern Kenya are having rights just like the rest of the country. Thank you very much.
I will be very brief. All we are asking for is to be governed just like every other Kenyan community and every other region in this country. We are asking to be governed according to the laws governing the people of Kenya and not have unconstitutional practices like the vetting for ID cards imposed upon us. What the president has done is remove an unconstitutional practice that has been at play in northeastern Kenya and everywhere in Kenya whenever a Somali is applying for ID card. And the vetting process is one of the most undignified things that has been done to the people who are from northeastern. What Governor Natembeya and former Vice President Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka did is to try and reinstate an unconstitutional practice. Their statements were bigoted, they were prejudiced, and they were racist. And we take exception to their statements calling for the reinstatement of vetting of Kenyan Somalis. We have always been the first line of defense in protecting Kenya. If we were not the first line of defense, then this country would not be as stable as it is. We have done that because we are patriotic Kenyans and we understand the responsibilities that are upon us in being law-abiding citizens of this country, but also being wide-eyed and alert to ensure that this country does not get anyone coming in to cause mischief and havoc. We take exception to the statements from those leaders, and we would want to urge them to apologize to the Kenyan Somali population and the country at large. Thank you very much.
Thank you.